Hi, I'm Jeff Ondash, and welcome to 66 Days to Success. And welcome to 2019. This is our first show of the year, and we've got a really good one for you. You know, we're all about positivity and setting goals here on the show, and we always wonder, should you start as a child and carry those on through adulthood? Should you start when you're in high school? Should you start when you're in your 20s? I guess the answer to that is it's never too young and it's never too old. In today's show, we're going to talk to somebody who started with her goals at a very, very young age. And she has turned out to be one of the best golfers in the nation. She's only in high school right now, and the future is unwritten for her, and she's got a long way to go and really succeed and fulfill her dreams and achieve the goals that she set for herself. Jayne Bernard's our guest today. I think you're really going to like the interview with her. She's a very, very beautiful and smart and entertaining young lady, and she is a great golfer. She goes to Cardinal Mooney, and she's got some great insight on possibly how you could learn from her on the goals that you're setting for yourself, how you can take what she's done and maybe apply a little bit to what you're doing in your life, and she can help you out. So sit back and enjoy this interview with Jayne Bernard. She's a great young lady, right after this message. Welcome back to 66 Days to Success. I'm here with Jayne Bernard. Jayne, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I've talked to your dad and I've followed your careers probably for, I want to say about 5 or 6 years now. And you have done some incredible things and accomplished some great things. You've won tournaments. You've become really known nationally as a golfer.
Yeah.
And that in itself is pretty great because you're a sophomore now at Cardinal Mooney High School, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like going to school there?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Good school?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're on the golf team there. You also you're not only just into the golfing thing, you excel at bowling. You're on the bowling team.
Yeah.
And you're into theater. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been doing theater since 4th grade when I went to St. Christine's. And I've only been in musicals, but freshman year was really a big success for me with theater because I was the evil stepmother in Cinderella, and we did 100 dresses, so that was fun too. I was the mean character, I guess.
That's the play, 100 Dresses?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was leads both of my freshman years, which was good.
So you get into the bug, and you think maybe acting might be something down the road for you?
Yeah, I really like it. So.
All right, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go back now to when you're 7 years old, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of 7-year-olds like me, I remember back when I was 7 years old, I wanted to be a professional baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
But those are always dreams that little kids have, and very few see those to fruition.
Yeah.
What made you at 7 years old decide that you wanted to take up a game that is as difficult as golf is for adults, but let alone a little 7-year-old girl?
Well, my dad really got me into it because I started first tee at the Golf Dome in Girard with my friend Jackie, and first it was just a thing for fun, and then after a while we kept going back to the lessons, and I really started to like it. So.
At 7 years old?
Yeah.
And when was your first competitive tournament?
I think I was 7.5, maybe 8.
Wow, that soon after that you had
Yeah.
your first Pee Wee
Yeah.
tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had to have clubs that were built for a 7-year-old, right? You couldn't
Yeah.
just go use the big ones. So they have clubs made for juniors, and there's junior tournaments everywhere, local, and then all the way up to national, right?
Yeah.
So you're 7 years old, and you had your first tournament experience, and how'd you finish in that one?
Well, my first tournament ever, I got a 79 for 9 holes. It was at Kensington. It definitely opened my eyes to the competitive level, but it was really nice to have my people with me.
So that was the first time, though, that did you take it seriously? Did you really understand that, what a tournament was all about and how competitive it would be and how, did you have any expectations of what you would shoot? Or?
No, I just really, I expected it to just be fun, and then I saw these little kids, having a breakdown about getting, a 50, and I was like, oh, I didn't do that well.
So were they 7-year-olds or a little bit older?
I think the thing was from 6 to 8 maybe.
So some of these kids have been in other tournaments.
Yeah, they started when they were 5, so.
And they couldn't handle not shooting their 50.
Yeah.
At Kensington.
Yeah.
At 7. I wish I would be able to shoot a 50 at Kensington.
Yeah.
At 60. So you shot a 79, and what did you learn? What did you walk away from that tournament with?
Well, I just remember I was still like excited to be in my first tournament. I got a medal, I think. There might not have been that many girls in it though. So I was excited for getting my first medal. I was really like hyper about it, and then it was fun. I didn't really expect much out of it, but. So
you come home from that tournament, then do you all of a sudden think that this is something I want to do? I want to be in other tournaments. I want to try, and you talk to your dad, and you want to take some lessons and learn how to be a better golfer at 7 years old.
Yeah.
And you took it that seriously then. So did you know what a goal was at 7 years old?
Not really.
So
I didn't expect anything.
This was still just something to go out and play and have some fun with.
Yeah.
At what point in your life did you stand back and go, I really want to sit down and plan this out? I think I could really, do something here.
I mean, I was probably only like 8.5 when I realized that I could probably get my goals to be achieved. So. At
8.5. And do you remember what your first goal was in golfing?
Well, I just remember I really, really wanted to come in first or second. Like, I was so determined, I was so competitive, and I'm still really competitive about that. But I remember, I think I was only 9 maybe, I got my first second place tournament. And I was so happy. Like, I was so excited.
Was it a local tournament, a regional tournament, national?
It was probably an hour away.
So kind of a regional tournament then, and you're 9 years old, and at that point you've been golfing for a couple years, and you placed second.
Yeah.
That's pretty good accomplishment at that point. Then what happened when you came home on that ride home? Did it really sink in then that, now I could do some damage here. I think I could be good at this.
Yeah. Well, I remember it was on Father's Day, and my dad was super excited.
Good Father's Day present.
Yeah. So I was super happy. I remember this one little girl was like not very happy that I came in second, but I was very excited for what could come out of this.
So then you're 9 years old, and now you're just going to compete in different tournaments across the area and go national. Up to date from, let's say, when you had that first tournament to today, not in high school play, but how many junior tournaments you think you've been in?
A lot. I can't count. I know it's been over probably 250.
250 tournaments.
There's way more than that. I just can't even throw a number.
Wow. And just think of all the time and the amount of hours you put into getting ready and preparing for that tournament. All those tournaments, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You have to put a lot of dedication into it.
And do you think that's one of the keys to setting a goal?
Yeah, definitely. You have to be determined. You have to practice nonstop. I mean, you can have breaks, you can have friends, but golf has to be your main focus if you want something out of it.
To come through with it. So you finished second in that 9-year-old one. Was your goal changed then at that point when you placed second?
That tournament, like if you got, I think, a 45 or less, or like if you came in first or second, you would qualify to be in the World Championship for U.S. Kids Golf in Pinehurst, North Carolina. So that was definitely really exciting for me because I knew I qualified for it.
So you shot under a 45?
I think I shot 45 that day. So.
Wow. Now, did they move the tees up for juniors at all?
Yeah, they do.
So the holes are shortened a little bit, but still a 45.
Yeah.
And you're 9 years old. Wow, that's fantastic. So you get the second place. Now your outlook kind of starts to change on what you think you can do. And you play a couple more years. When was it that you won your first tournament?
I can't really remember. I was probably 10, I want to say.
And you're talking about when you're in these regional tournaments, you've got some good competition out there.
Yeah, there's really good girls out there.
And they've been playing a long time like you have, and they've got the same competitive nature that you have.
Yeah.
And one of the things about when you set a goal, it's hard to, especially at a young age like you did, at 7 years old and then again at 9, it's hard to keep that going all the way through to the level that you're at right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they fall in love with a sport, they fall in love with something they're doing. It could be writing a book or whatever, but then that love kind of goes away and they stay away from it. You've stayed with this
Yeah.
and determined to succeed in this.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say that you've accomplished your goal yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
'Cause
What is your ultimate goal?
I want to be in the LPGA, but I know it's going to take a lot more than what I'm putting in now, and I'm willing to put it in. But me only being a sophomore, I can't really get colleges to like email me and stuff yet. I have to be a junior for that. So I'm waiting for this year to see what happens.
Something's telling me that that's not going to be a problem. You getting emails from different colleges.
Yeah, I've gotten a few questionnaires already from some, because they can only send those. But
And can you say who they are?
I think Toledo gave me one. YSU sent me a questionnaire. Worcester, I think. Geneva. And I got a, like, it was more of a, I want to say, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was something from Duke, though.
Duke?
Yeah.
You do know how good of a school Duke is.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you probably have a school out there or a couple schools that you wouldn't mind, like they're your favorite colleges that you're interested in. Could you maybe tell us, like, if that one came across that you would probably jump at it?
Yeah, I mean, I really want to go to Kent State for golf. It's a D1 school, so that would be fun. But
You'll be close to home then. That's only about 45 minutes away from where you live now.
yeah.
And that would be good enough because you'd be competing on a national level in D1 schools. And how do they work? Would you, as a medalist, would you qualify as a team and as an individual for tournaments that way?
I might. I know at the high school level, you could qualify either way depending on the tournament. So.
All right. Now, how many tournaments have you won since that second place tournament way back when you were 9?
There's a lot. I mean.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you're not really caught up in the fact of you've got an exact number. You're not hooked up on that. You're more hooked up on the fact that I have a goal in mind at the end zone, and it's not about the trophies on the wall, because that's not your end goal, right?
No.
So you want to make the LPGA. Now, you're a kid, and I know that you don't get that probably as much as your dad or me or Greg, that, we've been around the block a couple times, and you're still a kid, and you need to have kid things going on in your life. That's why you do bowling. Is it more of something that kind of takes your mind off of golf and gives you a release from that?
Yeah, I mean, golf's always on my mind, but I think theater would probably be like my most stress-relieving activity that I do.
Takes you away from the pressures of golf.
Yeah.
Do you put a lot of pressure on yourself?
I could, depending on the tournament, depending on how I want to do in it, but most of the time I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna make new friends. I'm gonna maybe play with some of my older friends. Like, I'm just gonna have a good day, and whatever I shoot is what I shoot.
Your parents have done a good job with you. You really, really have a great outlook on things. But I know underneath what you just said, you have a very competitive nature that you don't want to finish second.
Yeah.
And you're really going into that tournament to give it your best shot.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that if your best shot isn't first place, that's okay, because you've got another tournament coming up after that.
Yeah.
That's a great attitude. Please don't ever change that.
I won't.
Stay with that. So you're at Cardinal Mooney. Last year you had a great thing happen to you. You went to state.
Yeah.
Your team went to state. You had a senior that was a pretty good golfer too.
Yeah.
Now you were number 2 on that team, the number 2 golfer. And where did she continue on with her golfing?
Yeah. She got a scholarship, I'm pretty sure. So she'll be moving on. I've known her since 2nd grade because we went to the same elementary school together. So it was fun walking into the season, having people that I know, like my freshman year. So, and like the way golf works in high school is like there's a number 1 and 2, and they go out on the course together. So I was with her every tournament.
And that made it a lot more fun because
Yeah.
you had a bud on the team then, buddies, and that made it a little
Yeah, it was a good bond.
took some stress off of that. I can't tell you how intrigued I am to see what's going to happen to you down in the future, because sometimes you interview kids that are into certain athletic endeavors, or especially single focused, they're not team events like boxers or
Yeah.
tennis players and golfers, and they don't have the attitude or outlook like you do. You're very laid back about it.
Thank you.
But I do believe that somewhere underneath there's a tiger, lurking, that on the course you're a little bit different of an animal.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's where it's supposed to be. And then when you're done with that 9 holes or 18 holes, you kind of have to know how to leave that there and go on with your life and
Yeah.
then come back. What's a typical week like for you in golf time? Like, how much practice are you putting into this?
During winter, I sort of like chill on it a little bit. I only practice maybe 3 times a week, just so then I could have a break and get ready for the upcoming season still. I do fitness training with Bob Sarich, so it keeps me still mentally focused and like ready. But during the summer, I pretty much practice every day, or I have a tournament. So
You're out and about. Well, and especially that's after school ends. Then you go out into the. Now, is there a ranking nationally for kids, and like, do you fall in any of that?
I'm not really sure about that. I've never really looked into it. I'm sure my dad probably has, but
So you don't. That's not something that really matters to you.
no. I mean, it's
It's amazing.
the outlook goal. I mean, those kids could fall there now, but I might have a chance in the future. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully, it's the best though.
What would be your ultimate? Let's. Do you have a high school goal and then an after high school goal?
Yeah. For high school, I want to like set a high school record. Like, I've been trying to go under par so that I could have that high school record. Like, when people walk into Cardinal Mooney in 10 years, I'm going to be like the golfer that has that record. So
You want that to be up on. Now that's a Cardinal Mooney record, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then for college, I want to be like 1 or 2 for their team, and I want to get a scholarship. That's my goal throughout high school and college.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
If you get a scholarship to, let's say, Duke.
Yeah.
Duke's what, about $50,000 a year or $60,000 a year? That's an incredible honor just to be offered that scholarship.
Yeah.
And if it came down to, let's say, Duke, Ohio State, and Kent State, right now you would pick Kent State?
Yeah, I would be Kent State or Ohio State just because it's more close to home.
Want to stick around here, huh?
Yeah.
Love Ohio that much, huh?
Well, it's not. I mean, it's just my family and friends. I want to stay close to them.
Your parent? Did I say your parents did a great job with you? 'Cause they really, really have. Let's talk a little bit about the pitfalls of golf. Golf is a very funny sport. I love baseball. I still play baseball. And there are things, I was talking to Greg before we shot here today, and I didn't play last year, but we have batting practice. We started, and I haven't hit in a year. So I hit about 75 pitches, and I like to die on Monday. My body was so sore, and I know you're in strength training and everything, but
Yeah.
you've got to keep up with a consistent level of where you're at right now. How do you keep that into your daily program?
I mean, it's definitely hard to balance school and golf because grades could be tough with that. But I like tell my friends, I'm like, hey, I have golf practice this day, and this day. Like, I can't hang out. I have to work on what I want to do.
So have you missed some kid activities, some things
Yeah.
that you might have wanted to show up at?
Yeah, I remember it was 7th grade. I had a sports banquet, but I had a golf tournament that day too. And I had to miss the sports banquet, and I was sort of bummed about it, but
Priorities, huh?
yeah.
It's not a bad thing. That is really not a bad thing. But sometimes you got to make the decision on a call like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad that one has to be missed, but I'm sure how'd that tournament pay off for you?
I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure it was at Pine Lakes, so.
Do you find it troubling at times to keep up with your schoolwork because of golf?
Yeah, it could be hard. It depends on the class. Like, I'm not that good at math, but I've been getting better. So, like, when I had math, it was the first quarter of last year. That's when I had golf, too. So it was pretty hard, but it's just about what you can and can't do, really.
So it's a lot of stress you put onto yourself when
Yeah.
you've got that. How do you do you have a diversion, or do you just find a way of dealing with it?
I mean, I try to find a way to deal with it. I mean, it's definitely hard at times. There's been times where I've started crying because I was so stressed out about golf and school and everything else. But then at the end of the day, it's like, what is going to get me a career and what's not. So
let's talk about if, and I want to think of the right way of putting this. Say golf didn't work out in your life, okay? You go to college and your ultimate goal, you said, was the LPGA.
yeah.
Is there another end game for you to divert to somewhere else?
I really like the dentistry field and stuff, so I'd want to be like a dentist or an orthodontist, or even like drama, but theater is really hard to get into when you're older, so.
So you're thinking right now, Kent State, get a bachelor's degree and golf.
Yeah.
And then would you go after your pro card then? You would make that attempt?
Yeah, I would try to do whatever was right.
I kind of think that the pro card's going to be, I know it's not easy to get. It's kind of difficult to get that, but I think I think you're going to be okay there. If you stay on the path that you're at and you're slowly progressing and keeping moving in that direction.
Yeah.
Do you think there would be any way that you would say, I just don't want golf anymore?
I mean, probably not. I've been with it for so long, and it's like, sometimes I've thought about it. I was like, what if I didn't do golf? And then I think back harder, and I'm like, this has been in my life since I was 7 years old. Like, all of this time that I've had with it, I can't just give it up.
And I probably diverted where I was going before with this. Single person sports like boxing and golf and tennis like that, and wrestling is another good discipline that way. There's so much put on you because there's nobody else but you at that particular moment.
Yeah.
And everything's dependent. Your coach can't go out and make the shot for you. You can't give the shot to a teammate, and pass it off that way. Everything is on your shoulders. And with golf, it's such a hard sport because you could just be so on today and then tomorrow nothing goes right. So, and you've got to fix that swing and fix this and try different things. It can be an overwhelming thing to try to constantly be successful at it. Have you ever failed at it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm in the Greatest Golfer of the Valley tournaments, and there's been times where I've won all 5 weeks, and then I get to the championship and I come in third. So it's all about, I don't want to say luck because it's not, it's about your ability, but there's been times where I've had tougher breaks than others,
So you have failed. What happens when you fail?
I mean, at first I'll get like a little upset, and then after I'll just be like, you know what, it's a tournament. I have more, there's much more to succeed on in the future,
So what you do basically is you pick yourself back up and don't look backwards and move forwards and keep moving towards the ultimate goal. Because that failure doesn't mean your goal didn't come true. Right?
Yeah.
Boy, I just really don't have any more questions for you because you're so grounded. You really are. You just have it. You really have a great perspective on where you're going, and that's just wonderful. Because a lot of people don't. At my age, at 60, they're still looking for that something that they want to succeed in. And that's the great part about when you have your goal as a young kid. You could take that all the way through. But there's nothing wrong with, let's say you're 30 years old. Do you think a 30-year-old person or a 50-year-old person or even a 60-year-old person like me, could I come up with a goal for myself and go out and attempt it and work at it?
It's not impossible, but starting at a young age is probably more beneficial to many people. Like, the girls I played with, they were 5 when I was 7, and they were beating me. Or they started at 5 when I started at 7. And I would first get out there and I'd be like, oh no, like, they're gonna beat me again. But then now we're like tied. So it's not impossible to do what you need to.
Hey, one more question on tournaments, and then I'll stop that on you. Nationally, what's the highest you've placed nationally?
I'm not really sure, but I've been in 2 world championships for U.S. kids. I played in 2 AJGA tournaments, which is at Mill Creek against national competitors, and this summer, actually, last summer, I went to the PGA National course, and I played in the Optimist tournament, which is a world tournament also. So,
how'd you do in those?
Well, in the world championships for U.S. kids, I didn't do good because I was like 9, and I think I was 11 in the other one, and I was still like learning. But the one that I was recently in, it was pretty hard. The course was really hard, but I think I came in like 67th, and there was a lot of kids there. So.
And that's a world tournament.
Yeah.
So now you're on the stage with not just kids from the Youngstown area, but all over the planet.
Yeah.
And you finished 67th.
Yeah.
So you had to be kind of proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good experience, too. I definitely got my feet wet about a lot of things, because if I'm going to play in the LPGA, it's going to be the exact same, so.
Well, Jayne, I think you've talked to our audience today, and you told us a lot about yourself. And do you have any advice that you can give them about how they could? Because there's a lot of people like me out there at 60 that are attempting new things in life, and could you give them an idea of how to sustain their goal and keep going at it? And if they fail, what do they do?
Well, I think the thing is, you can't give up unless you really, really want to. Like, there's always going to be a passion for what you do in your heart if you really love it, and you just keep at it, because you never know what could happen. You never know the outcome of things. I mean, you could really succeed about stuff. So
there's a book, and it talks. I think it's called 6 Inches Away from Gold, and the long story short of it is how these guys were digging this tunnel trying to find this gold mine. And when they finally said, we're done, that's it, we've had it, we've spent too many years doing this, and they were literally 6 inches away from a giant gold vein that somebody else went and got. Wow. Because they gave up too soon. So the lesson there is, don't give up, no matter what it is. And like you said, I think the biggest word that you put in there is passion.
Yeah.
If you've got that passion for whatever you're interested in, you're not going to let yourself give up.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there's always another tournament. There's always another chance to develop. And no matter what you do, if somebody's out there writing a book, if somebody's out there trying to play guitar, whatever that goal is for that particular thing, just don't quit.
Yeah.
And when you have that time when you think you failed and you can't do it, let it go for a couple days maybe, and then go right back at it again.
Yeah.
And let that passion burn for you. Jayne, I am very happy that you came in today and talked to us. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I want to thank all of my friends that I've played with. I want to thank Stacy Butler, Bob Sarich, Joe Allen, Rick Horvath, and John Von Schwartz for being my coaches throughout the years and getting me where I'm at today. And my dad.
And your dad.
So.
Yeah, he's not a bad dude.
Yeah.
I know. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I wish you all the best at Cardinal Mooney. You've got 2 years. No, you're a sophomore. You've got 3 years to go, right? Three seasons left in golf. And then it's off to, I'm sure, Division I school somewhere so you could play. And we'll be hearing a lot about you. And can't wait.
Yeah.
Do the Valley proud.
Yeah. I also want to thank my coach for this year for golf and the next 2 years, Mary Teresa Bellino. That's like the biggest thank you I have, because she got us to state, and that was her goal, and she got us there. So
she's a teacher at Cardinal Mooney?
No, she's our golf.
She's golf coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Bellino, that's a pretty big golf name in the Valley, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is she from that?
She's really good at golf. She got us where we are today. So
good. All righty. Well, I'm glad you've got the passion, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming in. And we're going to come right back and finish up this episode of 66 Days right after this. All right, welcome back to 66 Days of Success. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Yeah. Hi, and welcome back to 66 Days to Success. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I surely did. It was great. She's a wonderful young lady, and I think anything Jayne sets her mind to do, she is going to accomplish. It doesn't matter what wall she runs into, she's going to go right through it. I hope you learned something today, and I hope whatever goal you've got set for yourself, that you're going to keep working, and if you fail, you're going to get right back up and keep moving on. You have a great rest of the month and a great rest of the year. We're going to be back again next month with another show for you to hopefully help you out, motivate you to keep going on your goals. So have a great day, have a great life. We'll see you later, and thanks for watching.